Hello and welcome to the Chena River State Recreation Area. We're about 40 road miles northeast of Fairbanks, Alaska right now at a place called Granite Tors. This is a roughly 15-mile loop trail. It starts down here in the forest, as you can see, but over the next couple of miles we're going to be ascending up above the tree line into kind of an alpine tundra environment with lots of really interesting rock formations called tors, Granite Tors. That's where it gets its name. It's 6 p.m. right now. And sunset is at just after midnight tonight, I think at 12:05 a.m. Planning to make this an overnight hike, so we're going to hike up into the alpine environment and find a good place to pitch camp for the night, then hike back down in the morning. 71 degrees right now, and we just sort of came into this boardwalk section. Let me give you a look at that real quick. That's because the ground's really spongy and wet right here, so they lay these boards down to walk through. We'll come out of this section in a minute and back into the forest with firm ground. And then we're going to start climbing these hills that you can see ahead of us. So, why don't you join me for this hike and check it out, because I think this is a really cool one. Got a trail junction here. So 3-mile loop refers to if you just take a left here, this trail goes over a little bit and catches another trail that comes back that way. It's like the short hike if you don't want to do the whole thing. We're doing the whole thing, so we're going on Tors Trail. However, we're going to try to come down the other side of a big loop that goes up there. And I think that means we'll be coming back on this trail and rejoining here to get back to the car. I guess we'll find out. 1 mile covered so far, 1 mile from the trailhead. Still on the boardwalk, but we're starting to get onto the edge of this hill a little bit, the one that we could see in the distance earlier. So I think before long the ground's gonna firm up and the boardwalk will end and we'll just be walking on a normal trail. Well, here it is, into the boardwalk and onto normal trail. Actually, once or twice I've heard a couple of voices up ahead. I think there's some other hikers. I would guess as they're heading this way, heading out, because it's really unusual for people to be going in this late. I'm just a weirdo like that. It's like a big old Beaver Dam right next to the trail here. Well, I was wrong. There was still a little more boardwalk left. Just one section of no boardwalk, and then we got back on it. Check out all the scraggly black spruce trees around here. There's nothing wrong with these trees. This is just how they grow. These aren't stunted or anything. They tend to grow in these lowland type marshy environments. They're favored in that soggy wet ground. Once we get onto the hillside, I think we should be moving into birch forest. But I always just kind of like the way these look. They're kind of alien. Little creek crossing. Tiny little footbridge. You can see up there just poking over the trees, there's a bare hilltop up there. Pretty sure that's where we're headed. That's where we'll be making camp for the night. I expect it to be dry up there, so like so many of my hikes, I'm carrying water. I'm not depending on being able to filter water at camp. Right now I've got 3 liters with me. I'm expecting to drink probably half a liter on the hike, and then maybe 1.5 liters in camp. And then I just added an extra liter just for overhead, for safety. Obviously I want to have enough water, but I don't want to carry a lot more than I need to because water is heavy. My pack right now is about 35 pounds. That's including all the normal stuff, plus my food and water, plus my bear safety stuff, plus my videography stuff. Looks like we just ran out of boardwalk right as I was saying that. Maybe that's the last time. Oh, nope, I can see a little bit more just right there. Not done with the boardwalk yet. I mean, I can't complain. Walking on the boardwalk's pretty nice. It's flat and smooth. A little footbridge right there. So obviously if you were camping down here, there's plenty of water. There's still some overflow ice there. It's June 1st, by the way. That's from winter still. I was about to say, if you were camping down here, obviously there's water everywhere that you could filter. But that is not true once you get up into the rocky alpine environment, which is where I like to camp so often. Okay, this might be the end of the boardwalk for real. It was a couple hundred feet back there, but it looks like we're actually going uphill now. So I am going to put my tripod away and switch it out for my hiking poles. Probably no more tripod shots for a while. .9 miles in, FYI. That's where we start the actual hill climbing. Been pretty steady uphill since the last check-in. 2.3 miles now. I think we're expecting to cover 6 or 7 miles tonight before we look for camp. Notice the visibility is pretty poor up here. Like there's so much vegetation around the trail, you can't see really more than a few feet into the trees. So if you plan on coming out here, I do want you to remember that this is bear country. Both black bears and brown/grizzly bears are plentiful in this area. But at a minimum, you should have bear spray and a safe way to store your food. And when you're in low-vis areas like this, just make some noise. Make some noise every couple minutes so you don't surprise a bear. It's much better to let them know you're there before you walk up on them around the corner. So you can just be like, "Hey, bear." That's sort of the classic thing they tell you to do. But really, any unnatural sound will do the job. Like sometimes I sing a song. Sometimes I just make a weird noise. Woo! Woo! Trail's starting to level out some. This is not the top. This is just like a kind of a bench we're going to walk on about halfway up. But it gives us a kind of a breather because I'm out of breath after that climb. It'll give us like half a mile, maybe a mile of gentle, still uphill, but gentle uphill to get a little respite before we have to climb some more. .8 miles in right now. Still going uphill. We haven't broke out of the tree line yet, but we did come to this just more sparsely vegetated spot to get a look back. Let's take a look at the scenery. We started in the valley floor down there around the corner. How far have we climbed so far? My watch says about 900 feet of elevation gained. I never know if I really trust that, but that's what it says. Still more to go. I think we might be basically above the forest. Kind of the last birch trees back there that I've seen. Coming into, I don't really know what you call this environment. Scrubs. Like willows. Are these willows? Not to the open tundra yet, but above the actual trees. And then right back into the denser vegetation. Not even a tenth of a mile after filming that last clip. It's not birch here anymore though. I I don't think these are birch. That might be birch. Are those aspens? Can anyone teach me about trees? Hey, bear! Woo! Big pile of bird feathers right here. Side of the trail. You can kind of sort of see ahead here to the hillside up ahead. We still have to climb that, I'm pretty sure. But that might be the last big climb. It's not the last climb altogether, but it might be the last big one. Looks like it's coming up shortly. Maybe another half mile. We're at 3.7 miles in right now. This is quite grown up. But I think we will very shortly be breaking out of the trees. Little moose poop on the trail too. Yes, this is moose territory as well. They're very common. It's a something poop with a bunch of fur in it. Maybe a bear, maybe a fox or a wolf or something. Who flippin' knows, eh? Hey, bear! Trail is getting very narrow in the upper reaches here, just with the stuff growing into it. I'm guessing the upper reaches here don't see nearly as many hikers as the lower end, so it doesn't get beat back like it does down there. It is still easy to follow, though. Unlike the trail we did last weekend, the Chena Hot Springs Traverse. Okay, getting a bit steep again. We're at 4.15 miles. Look at that knot. We're at 4.15 miles, and I'm thinking this is that final big climb we have to do. Man, this bit right here is steep and rocky. Going slow and taking frequent breaks. Just go 20, 30 steps at a time, and then just stand still for 10 seconds to catch my breath. Do it again. Man, let's push up this last hill here. This is hard. Got a nice view back, again, right in the bottom of the valley is where we started. That's where the river is, that's where we parked. We're now above the height of those tors over there. I don't know how well you can see that in the camera, but right in the center there. We're higher than those. We're still going up. I thought we didn't have to go all the way to the top of this little knob, but that sure is the direction the trail's headed right now. So, only one way to find out. We gotta keep going. Ow. Man, it looks like the top of the hill is right here. If that's not the top of the hill, I might cry a little bit. We've done it. That was the top. No need to cry. And I do think it was the very top of that knoll, the hill we were looking at earlier, that I thought we'd be able to skirt, but I think we came right to the tippy top of it. Now don't get me wrong, there is still a little bit of ascending. We're not to the high point of the trail yet. But from here, it's mostly fairly shallow ups and downs as we follow a ridgeline. Now that we have attained the ridgeline, that's the bulk of it done. I'm just glad to have that steep rocky bastard behind me. First actual mile marker I've seen. I don't know if I've just missed him. It's the 16 kilometer or 9.9 mile marker. Now the mile markers count if you're going around the trail clockwise. We're going counterclockwise. So essentially that's 9.9 miles to the end from here. According to my watch, we're 4.9 miles in right now. Here's our first Granite Tor. Nice view over here. Let's just step over here for a moment. Some tiny little wildflowers. Wow. Look at that. And we got this bad boy right here. This isn't the only one, nor is it the biggest one. It's just the first one. Oh, hi. Our camper over there. Let's move on so we don't bother their solitude. I turned the camera on because I was just about to say I spotted an earth sack there. Somebody's bear food storage. They must have heard me to get out and check. There's a second little group of tours we're passing by here. And I don't know if you can see it in the wide field of view of the camera, but I can just see the trail heading up that little shoulder of a ridge over there. That's where we're headed next. Coming through a very overgrown section here. Starting to get the mosquitoes on me. I don't know if it's just because there's more of them here, because we're in a little bit wet, soggy, tussocky terrain up here, or maybe it's just because the sun's getting lower. The first 3 or 4 miles of the trail I didn't see any. And it's still not bad up here, but they're definitely noticeable. You can hear them buzzing on me. All right, let's check out this view. So those over there are the welcome tours that we just passed. And I think those are the other tours we could see from down the trail. So those two groups were the only ones we could see from down there. But now that we're up here, there's sort of a rocky spine here that goes off into the distance. There's more behind this that we can't see from quite right here. I think there's quite a bunch of them over here. That I think is the plain of monuments. And then way off to the south here, let me see if I can zoom in a little. That's the Alaska Range down there. You can see some of the tall mountains of the Alaska Range. That's about 100 miles away. So from here, we do have one more descent and climb. One more significant one. We're gonna come down here into this little slump and then back up the other side to up there. That is the high point of the trail. That's my goal for the night. Once we make it to there, I'm gonna start looking for a good camp spot. But we got one more hill to crack out. I gotta admit, this down and up here, it looks a lot more significant from here now that I'm looking at it than it did on the topo map. So maybe I spoke too soon earlier when I said we were done with the steep climbs. It does not look as steep as that last one though, thank God. Trail just passing right by the base of this tour. It's pretty cool. We're at 5.68 miles in. Just decided it was time for a quick rest at the foot of another tour. We're like halfway up that big climb. I think that's the top right there. It might not quite be the top, but it's pretty close. Oh, I just want to take a minute, catch my breath, water break. It's not as steep as it looked from the other side, but it is steep, so it's tiring, especially after how much I've already climbed today. Okay, I was wrong. It is as steep as it looked from the other side. Now that we're on the final bit, it's steepened up a good bit. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. All right, we made it up that climb. I think we're basically at the high point. I'm looking at that little rock outcropping up there and thinking maybe I want to camp next to that. It looks like it should have a great view. And it's not that, it looks like it's not much vegetation up there, so that'll help cut down on the bugs. Because I am getting pretty mosquitoed at the moment. They are definitely coming out now that the sun's going low. So let's see if we can just find a good path to pick our way over there. I'm thinking maybe just up right up here and then along the ridge. Whew. Just walked across the tundra. Trail's a quarter mile that way. Just walked across the tundra. And now we're stepping up onto, it looked like rocky ground from a distance, but it feels kind of squishy. It's kind of weird. Approaching our presumed campsite here. The thing to do is probably set the tent up near the Tor because it'll be a windbreaker. So I'm looking at this patch right here. It's not super level, but I can live with that. Kind of like to sleep on an incline anyway when I'm camping. My head a little bit elevated. Like right in here. Is this workable? Maybe. Got a nice window to peek through. All right. Actually just a little bit farther here, there's kind of a divot right here. I think this might be a slightly better spot. It's definitely small, but I'm a one person in a single person tent. I can fit in that. I'm also not the first person who's had this idea because there's a fire ring here someone built. But I think this is going to be my spot for the night. I'm going to start setting it up and see how it goes. See how it looks, how it feels once I get able to lay down in it. All right, so we've covered 6.78 miles, 52 degrees out here right now. It's like perfect for hiking. I am not cold when I'm standing around, but I'm also not overheating when we go uphill. It's just before 10 p.m. right now, 9:48. And so that means it took us how long to get up here? 4 hours, 3 hours, 58 minutes. It's time to crack this pack open, start setting up camp. Feels so good to get that thing off my shoulders. It was killing my left shoulder for the last couple of miles, and I don't know why. Just the left only. My right's fine. It must be something to do with the way I had it loaded, or the way I had the straps adjusted. I'll have to see if I can tweak that tomorrow when we pack back up. Also, my lower back is soaked from sweat. That is definitely suboptimal because I didn't bring a dry camp shirt. I almost always do, but I didn't this time, and I'm probably going to regret it. Okay, bear can, poop kit, electronics bag, first aid kit. So let's just try this on for a test real quick. Is this okay? Yeah, I think so. That means we want the foot down there, the head up here. So the long end point towards the foot, and this hub right here goes right in the peak. This goes up here. This one goes in here. And this hooks to a little thingy right here. And there's another hub right here. And then we just hook all these little plastic thingies. Okay, now the fly. fly works with, here's the zipper for the door. So that hooks on right there. This to here. This to here. Tripod leg just broke, by the way. No longer locks into place. If you pull on it, you can just pull it right out. Damn it. It'll work for the rest of the trip, but I'm gonna have to replace that. Okay, moving inside. Get the pad in here. This would be a lot easier if I didn't have the camera set right there. Here we go. Next piece is my silk travel sheet. You can never tell if this thing's right side out, inside out, upside down, what. I think it's inside out. There's a tag on it. I'm assuming the tag goes on the inside, but who knows? Got my inflatable pillow. Okay, I know I'm not exactly styling right now. I'm trying to dry my shirt off. It's hanging in a bush out there in the breeze. Let's crack the bear canister open and see what we have for dinner. I've got like a beef jerky stick and some dried bananas and a cereal bar. That'll be dinner tonight, along with a Kind bar. And I think I'll just have the cinnamon apple crisp, and I think that'll be my dinner. Along with some hot chocolate. Okay, I put my rain jacket on to block the wind, because being out here sleeveless in the breeze, it's a little chilly. Here's our campsite, snuggled up against this tor. Here's that spot we looked at first with the window to peep through. About to make my hot chocolate and my apple crisp right there. If we step out here and look this way, this is that whole valley. So way down in the base there, it's where we started today, right in the valley floor. And we hiked up the ridgeline, climbing up on this side, and then came up over here. And tomorrow we're gonna go out that way, around behind where you can't see here, and down this ridge, back to where we started. That's the north out there. The sun is not set yet, obviously. It's 10:43 p.m. We're still an hour away from sunset. And when it does set, it's not like gonna go down. It's gonna be going that way, and it's just gonna dip just below the horizon for about 3 hours and then come back up. If we look off to the south here, let me try to zoom us in a little bit. You can see a bunch of tors off in that direction. That's like more of this plain of monuments area. Looks like a really cool place to head over and explore. I don't think we're gonna make it over there. Actually, I just saw, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but there's this closer tor. There's 2 tents at the base of it I can see, so there are people camping over there. If you look off this way, just at the edge of that clearing right up against the trees, you can see a little white building. That's the Granite Tors Trail shelter. We could have went over there and to see if we could stay in the trail shelter for the night, but I just felt like staying in the tent. Plus, this is Saturday night. There's a good chance someone's already beat us to it. It's not reservable. It's first come, first serve. If we look off this way, you can see all of the high snow-capped mountains of the Alaska range just lining the horizon through there. That's pretty cool. There's a great view in pretty much wherever you look from up here. Okay, what does this want? 1 cup of water. Get my measuring cup. This, you slide the koozie off, it has measuring markings on it. You can read it actually looking inside because it's transparent. Actually, you know what? We're gonna want a cup for this too, so let's just do 2 cups. How much water do we have left in here? A bit under 2 liters. Oh, wow. Come on, settle down. There you go. Great. Bear bait on my fingers. So we want to fill this one up, back up to the 1 cup marker, and then put the rest in there. Seal, fold it over, make sure it's sealed, because you don't want to shake boiling water all over yourself. I just need to grab my spoon so I can stir you. Oh. Mosquito. Trash. Stove, spoon, mug all smell like food now, so they go in. Need to brush my teeth because toothpaste needs to go in here too, and then we're going to seal this thing up. Now we want to take this somewhere that it's not too easy to roll off. Like if I could just wedge it somewhere, that would be awesome. I'm not seeing an obvious spot. Ooh, there's my spot. There's my spot. Right down in this little divot. Good luck. See you in the morning. Alright, my shirt is dry. Hallelujah, my shirt is dry. Pack is wedged up underneath the rocks to protect it from some rain, and it's also got the rain cover over it. My boots are underneath that. Poles are right there, they're fine if they get rained on. So I want to get down here and start buttoning up things down here to get them prepped for rain, and then I'm probably going to retire into the tent for the night.
This is NOAA Weather Radio Station WXJ81 in Fairbanks. Here is the zone forecast for Upper Chino River Valley. Today, partly sunny in the morning, then becoming mostly cloudy. Isolated thunderstorms in the morning. Scattered showers. Some thunderstorms may produce gusty winds and small hail in the morning. Highs in the mid-60s. Light winds.
Okay, seal it up. Triple check that seal. Fold it over. Give it a good shake. And we're gonna let that sit for 4 minutes and stir it. And remaining in the bladder, about a liter left in the bladder, a little less really, 3/4 of a liter, maybe half even. We've got this full, which is my drinking water. Got half a liter in there. Food should be ready. Alright, it's been a long time since I've had the breakfast skillet. Like years. It's better than I remember, actually. I'm gonna have to get more of those. It doesn't look great. Tastes pretty good, though. Alright, it's 6:55, 7 a.m. 51 degrees out here. I think the coldest I saw last night was 48 when I was checking. I'm going to scarf down this goo packet to go with my breakfast, and then I'm going to start packing up and heading out of here. I have one Cliff Bar left over for food. I haven't quite decided if I want to eat that before I start or if I want to save it for a trail snack. Did we only put 4 steaks in last night? There should be more than that, right? One there. 5 might be correct. Oh wait, hang on. One there, 6. That definitely sounds correct. Okay. Alright, so tent is in. Pad is in. Sleep system is in. What's next? Water filter. Emergency stuff and radio. I think we're ready for the bear canister. The small amount of water we have left. Poop kit and first aid kit. Right up top. Now let's seal it up. Okay, so now we bring the brain up top. And just right under here is where I had my windbreaker vest yesterday. But I'm going to wear it for a start today because it's a little windy. Rain jacket. And slide up here. I don't want my sunglasses today. I'm not seeing a need for them right now. I'll leave them packed away for the moment. My trail bandana, so for wiping sweat. Water bottle in the left side pocket. Handgun, right side pocket. Bear spray on the waist strap. That's it, except the tripod. And the tripod can just slip in this side pocket here. You know what, I just realized I forgot. My camp shoes, I haven't changed into my boots yet. Those should have been inside. Time to open it back up. Alright, pack is on. Nothing really left but to hit the metaphorical road. I think we need to start out heading this way just to refine the trail that we left last night to come over here. And I think we're going to come over this little shoulder right here on the close side of this tor. And then we'll head out there just past those tors where those tents are at. I assume they're camped close to the trail. Then we'll follow this like grassy ridge all the way over to here to where the trail shelter is at. We'll pass the trail shelter. And then we don't have to climb this hump, thankfully. I'm pretty sure the trail comes kind of side hill, just on this side of it. And from there, we just get on this ridge line, and that ridge line just sends us back to where we started. So, nothing left but to start walking. Grab my poles. Let's do it. 7:25 a.m. We got one tiny little bit of snow to get through. How about that? Could just go around it, but this is the trail, but gosh darn. Ugh. Be great if I could not get my boots full of snow. Okay, get out. Passing by this one. Right over there is where we stayed last night. And that's where we're headed. This tall guy right over here, I think it's called the Asgard Tor. It's the only one I remember the name of other than the welcome tours. There's no trail over there, but we could just tundra walk off in that direction. A lot of this kind of hiking, if you like to do ridge lines in Alaska. No trail, just finding your way. Can be a little more treacherous than it looks, because there's these little, call them tussocks, but they're rounded and they're sometimes hard, and you can twist your ankle on them pretty easily. So you don't want to just go off full blast. Walk a little slow. See behind it there, the Alaska Range. Just, let me see if I can zoom in there, give you a better look. But just to the right side of the Tor is one of the high peaks in the Delta section of the Alaska Range. That might be Hayes, Mount Hayes. There's three tall ones, Hayes, Hess, and Deborah, kind of right in a row. Passing through what looks like a quarter mile of lightly forested section before we get onto the next ridge line, that grassy knoll that approaches the trail shelter. Just coming out of that forested section and about to pass by this group of tours. I think this one right here is the one I could see those tents at. Last I could see, they had not gotten out of their tents yet. I couldn't see them, so maybe keep my voice down a little through this area so I don't bother them. Yeah, there's the tour with those two tents. Just flip the camera on to show it's surprisingly marshy and wet right through here. Wasn't expecting this. I suppose in a pinch you could filter water out of there, but it would taste like dirt and lichen. What is up with this? Why is the trail on a trench? Trail shelter coming up ahead. I would love to poke my head in there and see what it looks like inside. Problem is, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. If someone did stay in there last night, there's a decent chance they're still asleep, and it would be, if it was lunchtime, I wouldn't feel weird about knocking on the door to see if anyone's in there, but this early, I might just pass it by, just in case. Trail shelters differ from cabins in the public land here, by the way. Cabins are generally sort of furnished in that they have a platform, bunk platforms. They still don't have a mattress. You have to bring your own air mattress, but has a platform to set it on. Usually have a couple tables and shelves and stuff. And they're usually by reservation. You pay something like 45 bucks a night, and it's your cabin for the night. Trail shelters, on the other hand, generally don't have anything inside them except maybe a wood stove. But if you're going to stay in it, you just sit on the floor. There's no bunk platforms, no tables. And they're usually free to use, but they're first come, first serve, no reservations. A rainwater collection right there. Well, I thought I was following the trail, but I ended up at the outhouse. Apparently this is the outhouse. And also a huge trash pile, for fuck's sake, people. You carried the shit in here, carry it out. Path does keep going, so maybe this is it. Big pile of moose poop. Backtracked about 30 feet from the outhouse because I remembered there was like a Y, a divergence here, and I went right. Let's try left. Maybe that's the trail. This looks much more well-traveled than that path over there that went back past the outhouse. I went like another 20 feet past when I recorded that last video, and it pretty much petered out. I think that was an animal trail, not a human trail. Yes, there's our confirmation that this is the trail. 6.8 miles. 6.8 miles back to the car. Very narrow, overgrown trail through here. And loads of moose poop. I've passed probably 10 or 15 other spots just like that in the last quarter mile, half mile. I'm sure the moose come out here to graze on these fresh plants, fresh willows, whatever these are. Are these willows? We're side skirting that hill, like I said earlier, from campsite, which is way over there. We don't have to go up that hill, we're going to side hill it. It looks like we're just getting on the rocky slopes of it right here. Sun came out, by the way. Warmed up to 55 degrees. I decided it's time to put the windbreaker vest away. Might be about time to pull the sunglasses and hat out. Looks like there's a couple of rock cairns to help guide you. This is, I assume, telling you not to go that way. But I can see a cairn there. So we'll rock hop over that direction. And then looks like this way. A trail sign to let us know we haven't taken a wrong turn yet. Some nice wildflowers starting to bloom up here in the sunny spots. I bet you come up here the right time of year and there's those all over the place. I think this knob, like right here, is that last steep hill I was complaining about climbing last night. I've also noticed a lot of the tips of these are like clipped off. Is that the result of mooses moving through and like grazing on the buds? Could be. Another rock garden across. There's been several of these. I haven't filmed every one of them, but this is probably the most roughest looking one yet. See, where do we... Trail looks like it's over there, so let's work our way that way. We're starting to go down, by the way. For the last 10 minutes or so, I've been on a gentle downslope. Okay, I have completely lost the trail at this point. I don't know where I got off it, but I did. I've got a GPS track saved in Gaia, and it looks like if I kind of walk generally this way, I should hit it again. This might be a little easier to cross right over here. Trying to look out for a post or a cairn anywhere, but I'm not seeing any. Much slower walking out here because as ankle twisty as the trail was, it's even worse off trail. Okay, let me take a look at the map again. Yeah, I'm basically running parallel to it. I'm not making enough leftwards. But the trail does make kind of a little janky corner up ahead, so even just going this way, I should have hit it. Let's try to angle a little bit more that way. I think that's it right there. That's it. I have no idea where I lost that. But we're back on it now. A little bit more snow. Much more grown up on this side of the trail. I wonder if people just don't walk on this side of it as much as they do the other side. People don't do the full loop. Hey, bear! All right, the slope has mellowed out a little bit. The trail is opened up. And the footing is better. Making pretty good time now. It's 9:25 a.m. We have about 5.5 miles to go back to the car. So if we keep the pace we're doing right now, probably looking at around noon. What in the world? There's a park bench out here? Who carried that out here? Fairbanks Area Hiking Club. It's a nice viewpoint. All the way up there in the middle. That's where we spent the night. I am going to take the opportunity to sit down here and take my pack off. Because about a quarter mile ago, I ran out of, I drank the last of water in my water bottle. So I want to get the bladder out of my pack and refill my water bottle. .7 miles to go. If you look down in the bottom there, zoom. That white, like bare cliff over there, that's the parking area right up against that. So I can see it from here. I haven't recorded much for the past mile or so because honestly there hasn't been much to see. We've been on a pretty narrow dirt path in a dense forest. We just came out into this little clearing so you can see a little more right here. There was a rabbit that was like 2 feet off the side of the trail and I didn't see it until I was right on top of it, and it just dove out of the bushes right in front of me and ran. Scared the hell out of me. So this just turned into a spruce forest about 50 feet ago. Black spruce. I think that means we're starting to get into the bottom of the valley. That was a spruce grouse right there. I think that means we're starting to get into the bottom of the valley. Oh man. Boardwalk. I think that means we're off the hill and into the flatlands. Thank God. Downhills are tricky, man. It's not really like a cardio challenge. You don't end up like breathing hard, so you don't feel like you're working hard. But your legs are still putting in a lot of work to keep you balanced and under control. My quads are sore right now, man. Only about a mile to go from here, so maybe 20 more minutes of walking. We'll be back at the car. Ooh, look at this bridge. That's cool. And there's that junction. Oh, 3 mile loop. Thought it was a 2 mile loop. Well, maybe it's a little more than a mile. Maybe it's a mile and a half to go. When I was packing my bag this morning, I adjusted the torso length on my pack and also just tweaked all the straps around. And I seem to have solved that problem of putting too much pressure on my left shoulder, making it sore. It's still a little sore right now, but I think it's just residual soreness from yesterday, not additional soreness from today. Like right now, it feels way better than it did last night, despite the fact that I just hiked another 8 miles on it. So I think I've got that problem worked out, thankfully. We are so close. We have to climb these stairs, which is such a cruel thing to have at the end of a hike. We have to cross the highway and cross this bridge. I didn't show you this at the beginning of the video, but this is the first thing you have to do when you come out of the parking lot. This is the Chena River. Great river for float trips if you're into that sort of thing. There's the car. We made it. Oh my God. I've got a care package in the car waiting for me and I'm so excited for it. If you want to do yourself a favor, leave yourself a care package at the end of a long hike. After hike you will be very thankful to before hike you for having the foresight to do that. My care package today is clean and dry shirt, socks, shoes, bottle of water with some lemonade drink mix and a can of soda. I cannot wait. So it's 11:40 a.m. 8.7 miles we've covered since campsite, and it took 4 hours and 13 minutes. 78 degrees out here right now. That's it, we're done. It's a wonderful hike, I highly recommend it. But that's all we've got for now, so thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.